The armed forces of the Russian Federation, developing an offensive, have broken through the heavily fortified defenses of the enemy, crossed the Sheitanka River and are fighting with units of the 53rd Mechanized Brigade on the approaches to Velikaya Novoselka. A mop-up of nationalist formations is underway in Zolotaya Niva. The advance was 8 kilometers. Up to 50 personnel, 3 tanks, 5 infantry fighting vehicles and 8 vehicles of various purposes were destroyed in this area. Units of the Lugansk People's Republic continue their offensive on Severodonetsk. Fighting to mop up Zhitlovka settlement is underway. Ukrainian nationalist battalions in Severodonetsk direction suffer serious losses. As a result of disruption of transport links, possibilities to replenish them are blocked. During the day, over 50 nationalists, 2 tanks, 3 infantry fighting vehicles and 2 missile and artillery depots were destroyed in this area. Planned regrouping of troops in Kiev and Chernigov directions is underway. The first stage of the special military operation conducted by the Russian armed forces in Donbass and Ukraine was planned to force the enemy to concentrate its forces, means, resources and military equipment to hold on to high-populated areas in these directions, including Kiev, to bring them down on the battlefield and, without storming these cities, to avoid civilian casualties, inflict such a defeat on the armed formations of the Kiev regime that it would not be able to use these forces in the main direction of our armed forces in Donbass. All these goals have been met. At the same time, the Russian army also solved another task, namely, in the absence of an inflow of fresh enemy forces from the western and central regions of Ukraine, through professional military action, using the absolute air dominance it had gained, also using modern high-precision weapons to create all the necessary conditions for the final stage of the operation to liberate the People's Republics of Donbass. To this end, the long-term defensive fortifications created by the Kiev regime over 8 years have been and continue to be continuously targeted. All major lines of communication, supply and reserve approach are taken under full control. Ukraine's air defense systems, airfield infrastructure, major military depots, training and mercenary concentration centers have been destroyed. Work on them continues. Thus, all the main tasks of the Russian armed forces in Kiev and Chernigov directions have been completed. The objective of the regrouping of the Russian armed forces is to intensify action in priority areas and above all to complete the operation for the total liberation of Donbass. Over the past day, air defense means of the Russian aerospace forces shot down 2 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles near Balakleya and Verkhnytorezhskaya. Operational, tactical and army aviation hit 69 military assets of the Ukrainian armed forces. Among them, 3 command posts, 2 multiple launch rocket systems, 8 ammunition and missile artillery weapons depots, and 52 areas of military equipment concentration. In total, 124 aircraft and 77 helicopters, 214 anti-aircraft missile systems, 323 unmanned aerial vehicles, 1,767 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 186 multiple launch rocket systems, 741 field artillery and mortars, as well as 1,657 units of special military vehicles of the armed forces of Ukraine were destroyed during the operation. The Russian Defense Ministry continues to study documents received from the employees of the Ukrainian laboratories about secret military biological activities of the United States in Ukraine. A study of the new material by Russian experts of the nuclear, biological and chemical protection troops identified specific officials who had been involved in the creation of the biological weapons components. These are the heads of units and staff of the US Department of Defense as well as its main contracting companies. As the ongoing journalistic investigations in the Western press show, these companies were directly linked to the son of the current US President, Hunter Biden. As a result of the special military operation, research in a number of Ukrainian biolaboratories where work with strains of particularly dangerous pathogens was being carried out on behalf of the Pentagon has been stopped. A number of documents obtained from these laboratories, however, reveal the concealment of the test subjects' identities and the serious risk to their lives. Of particular interest are documents indicating the Kiev regime's plans to use drones capable of carrying and dispersing lethal substances. The revealed facts prove that the Kiev regime was seriously considering the use of biological weapons against the population of Donbass and the Russian Federation. We will provide more details on the results of the analysis of the documents received and the facts revealed at a special briefing in the near future.